I used to poop on like the bathroom floor at like my friends' houses and like the local gym,
Oh
LA
God.
Fitness, and like the bathroom of like this guy that I was seeing at the time. And this was not for like a reason that you think. Like,
Whoa. Oh my God. Like I can't imagine pooping in someone like if I'm seeing someone and I have to use the bathroom and I poop in the sink or in in the bathtub. And like you got to always lie, right? Like you can't. So saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom," and then you hear the shower turning on is a cause for alarm in anyone's house because it's not your home. Why are they showering? And you're all of it. Why is a shower head on? So he's definitely lying. He had to lie about what he was doing in the bathroom because a poop isn't just gonna go down the tub. It's not gonna go down the drain. You're gonna have to like mush it with your feet or something. There's way too many questions I have for this guy. I hope he answers them.
Yo, we're diving deep, internet's hot. Best friends, giving all we got. Cringe to bizarre, we hit the spot. In podcast hell, while things trot. Friends partying in hell, can't you see? Laughing through flames, just you and me. Unfiltered and raw, we bring sweaty friends partying in hell. Meant to
This is Friends Partying in Hell, and I am joined today by no one. It's just me. It's just me today. And this is the only podcast that doesn't need someone that you can bounce off funny videos and ideas and have a conversation that's really insightful where you learn stuff and you have a good time and whatever. Like, I don't need, who needs that? I don't need my best friend in the whole world who's really funny and always listens to me all the time and then gives me really good advice and he's always there for me. I don't need that at all. Okay. I can do it alone. I don't need it. Okay. I can do it by myself. But I do miss him. He's not here today. And I don't know how this is going to go. This could be really, really funny, or it could be something that doesn't work at all. And I'm hoping for the former because if I do a really bad job, then Anthony has no choice but to, come back and record with me. But if I do a really good job, then he'll just say, "Why? What's the point of me doing this? Do it yourself." So I'm in a really weird situation here where I want to do a good job, but I also don't want to do a good job. So we'll see. But he's not gone forever. He just couldn't make it today. He has daddy duties, and as a proud dad and as an amazing father that he is, he couldn't record today. So he told me that we should try and have you do it alone. So that's literally what I'm doing here. Um, that being said, in terms of things that I want to talk about before I kind of start showing videos, I think this is going to be a short recording. I can't imagine people want to hear me for long swaths of time, like just chatting and chatting. Um, the only thing that's happened to me recently where maybe it's something worth talking about is my my week has been a little strange because I've been looking for work and so I've been kind of busy doing that. So I've been having to interview again and do all these things and talk to people. And I'm in a place in my career where it's like I've professionally I'm in a place where I have so much experience, but it's weird because you still have to sell yourself, And I don't think that's ever going to change really, at least in my industry. You're only as good as the last thing you did. And so it's been kind of interesting having to kind of resell my work and my professionalism and everything like that. And it's been really interesting. But what's been cool is that I've been able to kind of leverage the podcast and talk about it because our podcast does pretty well for a small podcast that we're not anyone famous or anything like that. We're growing organically and we have really cool numbers to suggest that like we do well without having maybe kind of like the help me push me up kind of things that other places or other podcasts have where it's paid advertising or big brands coming in and all that kind of good stuff. So I've been really lucky to kind of talk about those things and the cool stuff that we've been doing. So I just want to thank everyone who's listening to now for being part of that data, those statistics, those numbers that show that, wow, there's people really like listening to us and actually find us funny, which is kind of really still mind blowing to me that people listen to us. I just can't thank you enough for listening. But that being said, yeah, I've been having to apply to work and all this kind of weird stuff. And there's a job that recently, um, I'm in the later stages of the process, and they wanted me to do a test for them. So, like a creative project based on what they think my skills could be, which I always find really annoying because all my work is up. It's not hidden behind some paywall. You don't have to pay some membership to some weird thing to see my stuff. My stuff is on YouTube. My stuff is on TikTok. I have a website where I direct jobs and stuff or people who want to employ me to go see my stuff. So it's curated for that, and you could see what I've done. And it's not even just like videos. I have descriptions of this project is titled this, and I did this on this, and I did that, and the objective of this, and the turnout. I have all this stuff, and they still like ask for a video thing to see if I can do video stuff, which is what I do. So it's kind of weird to not be a little snobby about it, and I always find that it's almost offensive, almost like where I don't know, whoever's listening, imagine someone coming up to you at your job now where you're currently working, and let's say you've been there for a little while, you know the ins and outs of it, and then someone coming in and saying, hey, can you show me exactly what you do, because we want to maybe pay a little more money, but we're not sure if you can do the job. So it's like, well, what do you mean? Like, I'm doing the job, so how can you're asking me to show you like now to how I do it when that's how it feels like to me. So it's been a little frustrating in that sense, because it's always usually sometimes like that. And then there's other companies that don't do that they're just like, yeah, like, here's money, do the thing. And that's appreciated, because it's like, okay, cool, thanks. Let me get on with with my career and have it move forward. That's just been a little bit about me, about what's been going on. Besides that, anything that's been in the news lately, though, I talked to Anthony about this, and I'll definitely have, I have my thoughts on it, and we'll talk about it really briefly. So a lot of the show that we do, a little inside baseball, is we definitely structure the show. We structure the show in terms of what we want to talk about. We don't come into the show completely blind. Now, where it ends up is always a surprise. But we definitely structure the show, and if there's topics we want to talk about and there's things that are going on, we definitely think about what the angles and the things that we can do. And one of the things that's been happening, obviously, is the Drake thing and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes we like to jump on whatever's contemporary, whatever's happening in the now, and talk about it, especially if it's interesting to us. I wasn't really I could care less about the Drake beef and the rap beef with Kendrick and everything like that. But Anthony was so excited about it that it got me excited about it. So then it became like, okay, he wants to talk about it, so we'll talk about it. I'm not going to rain on his parade and tell him that he can't tell me or talk to me about stuff that he's really interested in. I mean, I think that's what creates the dynamic in the conversations that we have. So one of the things that we just talked about was the Diddy thing. And I think in the way that I'm doing this recording now, I think it's probably a lot easier to talk about it than with him, because we couldn't find an angle on why or how we wanted to talk about that, because we fuck around a lot on this podcast, and it's always something that we always try to think about, like, how can we at least poke fun or laugh at someone or shame them, or kind of see how the insanity of the world is projected through our lens and how we view things. And sometimes we have a really good idea of how to talk about something, or at least laugh about it, and it's palatable, and it's something that at least I would talk to him about. But the Diddy thing was something that we did not want to talk about, even with each other. And it wasn't because of a thing of ignorance or like not, not. It wasn't like we didn't want to talk about it because it's so outside of like our frame of kind of reference and understanding or anything. It was more like it was so disturbing and so awful that it was like, what's the point of even talking about this shit? Because number one, there's nothing funny about it, and then number two, how long are we going to talk about it? And number three, like what is the point or the angle? And I couldn't figure any of those questions out. I was just like, well, we could talk about it because it's happening, so that's like one. But do we want to be like attention whores and just talk about shit and not really have like an idea like why or how? Like that's pretty shitty. You know what I mean? Like the Drake thing and all that stuff was based because my friend was so, not my friend, my Anthony was so excited about it. And so that made sense. But for something like this, I'm not excited about it. He's not excited. Like, we don't want to talk about this. And we didn't know what to do. We were just like, yeah, man, like I don't think this is something worth talking about. And I think I've started to think that it's not worth talking about. I think it's more along the lines of there's nothing else to say about it. And I think that leads to like then why I talk about it, right? And I mentioned in conversation with him, the most I'll say about it is how awful he is and how disgusting that was, and how I can't imagine doing that to someone, especially a partner that you love and that you need to protect and take care of, and then treat them like that. And so openly too, which is insane. Like can't imagine what went on behind private doors. This motherfucker went out in a towel, ran down the hallway to fucking hit her, to beat her down, and then like it was nothing. Like that kind of power and arrogance and depravity is so palpable in that video that you're just like, yeah, like I get why monsters like you exist and keep existing, and like nothing happens to you guys because like you have just too much money, you have too much influence, and it's just disgusting. And yeah, Anthony and I just didn't know what else to say about this, so that's what I will say about it. It's fucking gross and disgusting, and those are my 2 cents on it, and I'm sure that he'll agree. But on a lighter note, and kind of moving on with the podcast, like I said, I don't want to rant and rave on this all by myself. I don't want to be just, there's no sounding board, so I don't who stops me from talking. Now, like I mentioned before, Anthony is on daddy duty, okay? And he's a good dad. He's an amazing dad. I'm not a dad, so I don't understand taking care of children. I don't understand the sacrifices that you have to. I can guess what that feels like, but I don't know what that is. I'm so self-absorbed and so in my own head and space. I don't have to take care of anyone. I take care of my dog, and barely even then, like I take care of her. Right? She's sleeping. See, she doesn't even care. She doesn't even care I'm here. So I'm always curious about what's it like to be a good parent. What's it like to be a good dad? Because maybe one day I do have kids, and maybe I want to be prepared for that. And I have my really good friend who is learning those things. So maybe he can help me skip the mistakes that maybe a new parent or dad might make. So I want to play this video for you where it's someone giving parent advice. And Anthony, if you're listening, can you tell me if this is some good advice?
Don't play with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
As a father, I am not my daughter's playmate.
Mm-hmm,
I'm her teacher, counselor, comforter, and guide through this life.
Mm-hmm.
You see, spend time with your kids, but much better quality time and memory building is spent bringing the girls into my world than I ever would get if I was spending time in theirs.
Okay.
You see, I'm not my child's entertainment. My
All right.
job is to equip them and pass on my knowledge. Their job, learn how to be kids with other kids. You see, playtime teaches them socialization and negotiation that only happens with other children. If I were to play with them in their playtime, they're going to tell me what to do, the rules of the game, and I'm going to do everything they tell me to. That does not prepare them for relationships with their peers. We have a saying in our house: "You will not live with daddy forever."
That's cool to say.
Prepare accordingly.
Bye, I love you.
That's a really cool thing to say to a kid. Hey, I'm gonna die at some point, and you're gonna be fatherless, and you figure it out. You're gonna have to figure it out. I want to say that video is super cool. It has some really good insight, some really good ideas. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not a dad, so I can't argue with. Is that good fathering? I think what he was saying. I think what he was saying wasn't bad. I think the execution of it was pretty terrible. So it was. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your father. That's what I heard, right? But the way he also made it sound was like, I'm also not doing anything that you want to do as children. You're going to do everything that I say you have to do. And it seems like it's a recipe for raising, two little girls. It sounds like a recipe for raising some girls that are going to have some crazy fucking daddy issues when they get older. And that's all I'll say about that. Because girls with daddy issues, they're fun, but whew, there's baggage there. Delta Airlines couldn't handle all that baggage. All right, so I'm curious, Anthony, could you let me know if that's really good fatherly advice, or anyone out there who's a parent that's listening to us? Is that good daddy advice? Is it good? What did he get wrong? What did he get right? I don't know. I've heard a lot of different ways that people rear their children, and some are pretty wild to me, and some make sense. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I could see why you would do that. And so I don't know. Like there was someone I was dating who has kids, and her philosophy was always, my kids aren't going to stop me from living my life, which is a very different thing. You don't hear women say that much. Now, she expressed that she was a good mother and she was always there for her children, but she also had her own life too, and that there needed to be a distinction where I'm not living constantly for my kids. And I could understand that. I could understand that being having a boundary and stuff where you do all the things that you're supposed to do for a kid, but I'm also I need me time, and that's okay too. That's healthy. So I don't know. I don't know. People do different things. I don't have kids yet. I don't know how I'll react. I have no clue. The next video I want to play is we've had maybe a couple weeks of doing nothing but Drake and Kendrick beef, and it's been gangbusters. Waiting for that thing, Jesus. So for the past couple of weeks, we've been doing nothing but like Drake and the Kendrick beef, and it's been going gangbusters for us. Like we've ridden the wave of that, but it's done now. There's nothing else to talk about. Kendrick won, okay. But what is the next beef? What is the next big rap beef? And I found a rap beef online that I think is pretty good. This is two rappers. The one is a bottle of ketchup and the other one is a bottle of mustard, and this is them having a rap battle.
It's your boy, Mustard. You must heard what it is. French's gang. Free my man Butter doing life in the box. Let's go. Yo, in hindsight, Mustard has an ugly color. I'll take Mustard's musty mother and uppercut her through the upper cupboard. I'll run your cousin and your brother through the onion cutter. You belong in the dessert section next to the fluffy custard, cause you're sweet as honey mustard. Look at Dijon and horseradish looking like Dumb and Dumber. You guys probably f*** each other. And since you run with butter, my toast will never jam like your buddy Smucker. Yo, get holes in your leather jacket.
Yes.
Get the ratchet. Something squirting if I see ketchup packet and rip his top open like a ketchup packet.
Ooh.
You be with the french fries, tater tots. I be on sandwiches in the spread. Translation, you small potatoes and I'm out here getting to the bread. Yo, that shit was fucking ass.
It wasn't as
Straight
good as
up
ketchup.
Mustard gas. Yo, I'm seeing tons of cash. Ask lettuce. I'm getting green like the Hulk. See, I'm a seasoned veteran in here. You seasoned with salt. Don't think that I won't swing. Even the eggs in here came to see you get yolked. So you better try to concentrate like orange juice. What's that? Cause you about to get beat to a pulp. You used to be that guy. Now Sriracha the one. I try to coach ketchup. Cause I got the sauce and these buns. Quit banging with Prego. Reppin' pasta. That'll get you shot in the slums. Hey, yo, tomato. Yes, sir. That's how you talk to your son.
Yes. Fuck yeah. Fuck it. Now it's about ketchup and mustard. I fucking don't like mustard. I do not like mustard. So maybe I'm biased, but I think ketchup won that. So for everyone out there that's been missing a little bit of the rat beef, here is a rat beef for you, and I hope you enjoyed that one. That made me laugh. This next video I want to play for you guys is okay. So definitely I need to give this context. I saw 5 seconds of this, and I don't know where it's going to go. So I'm going to be just as shocked playing it. And this is a guy who has a very serious pooping problem. Okay.
I used to poop on bathroom floors as an adult pretty often, to be honest, especially in 2019 and 2020. And this was all intentional. Like, I was never like accidentally pooping on bathroom floors. Like, I went out of my way to poop in like the bathtub. And,
I mean, that's gotta be it's a mental issue, right? Like that's just, I can't, like, who first of all, who does that? And then who's the kind of person that does that and then gets on TikTok or whatever and starts talking about it? It's very, very, very confusing to me to have this be a bug in your system. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a glitch. Okay, it's like it's a feature, and I have no clue where he's going with this.
Tub and like shower holes, like not just in my own home. Like, this is my parents' house, not just in the bathroom of like my parents' house. I used to poop on like the bathroom floor at like my friends' houses and like the local gym, LA Fitness, and like the bathroom of like this guy that I was seeing at the time. And this was not for like a reason that you think. Like,
whoa, oh my god. Like, I can't imagine pooping in someone if I'm seeing someone and I have to use the bathroom and I poop in the sink or in the bathtub. And like, you gotta always lie, right? Like, you can't. So saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom," and then you hear the shower turning on is a cause for alarm in anyone's house, because it's not your home. Why are they showering? Why is a shower head on? So he's definitely lying. He had to lie about what he was doing in the bathroom, because a poop isn't just gonna go down the tub. It's not gonna go down the drain. You're gonna have to like mush it with your feet or something. There's way too many questions I have for this guy. I hope he answers them.
Like, I didn't get off on like pooping on the bathroom floor, like away from the toilet. Like, I just had like this like crazy obsession of like being super, super clean. When I was first starting out as a bottom, like, I'm very celibate now, but when I was first seeing like a man and I had like my first gay awakening, I desperately wanted to be clean down there. And so every single time I would douche my butt, I would need to shower immediately afterwards. And like, I felt awkward if I took a shower and like douched again. Like, I would always have to douche like last minute, right? Like I would douche and then take a shower, and then I would feel the need to douche again. And so
being gay is
instead
pretty
of,
cool.
like, toilet and then shower and then back to the toilet, I thought it would be a good idea to have my final round of douching like be done in the shower. And so every single time I would shower before seeing this dude, I would squat on the bathtub or like wherever I was in the shower, like at the gym, wherever, and I would just chart out like the dirty water onto the entire bathtub and like the entire shower section. And it wasn't super sanitary. Like I wouldn't
No
clean.
shit.
I would just like rinse the shower floor. But obviously
You
I've
nasty
stopped doing
fuck.
that. I'm not seeing anyone now. It was just like a super weird...
so the only thing that's stopping you is just because you're not fucking right now. But given a chance, you'd start fucking pooping again in the bathroom, in the bathtub. Jesus Christ, dude.
super weird like clean thing that I had in my mind that I had to do, and my feet would obviously touch like the dirty water, and I would just like have to put some soap over it and like wipe it really, really well. But that was something that I did. That was a part of my douching routine. I think from 2019.
Thanks, man.
2020. And if you want,
I hate that
the link in my bio. I do sell really fun douche kits. They're really good. And yeah,
great.
I
Let's
stopped
market.
doing that obviously, but like,
market
I'm not
ourselves.
opposed to pooping on the shower floor nowadays. I just haven't
God,
had
this-
the chance or like the need.
This planet is doomed, man.
When was the last time you guys pooped in the shower? Let me
Never,
know.
bitch. Never. Oh, dude. I now I understand how Anthony feels. I hated that. I hated that I did that to myself. Holy fuck. Oh, good lord. Like, it's I really am speechless at the levels of depravity. And not even that. I'm more offended that this dude got online, told us his story, and then started selling merch. Selling merch. Oh my god, dude. I mean, capitalism, man. Capitalism, greed is good, apparently. Greed is fucking good. And you know what? I thank him for his teachings and his time and his video, because I learned a lot that if I ever want to get butt fucked, it's totally okay to fucking shit and shart in my bathtub. All right. So thanks a lot, dude, for that one. I have two more videos that I want to play. I'm a Latino man, and I feel like we're not represented as much as I would like to be represented in TV and movies. Okay. I don't see much like me. And when I do see people like me, it's a weird version of culturally me and my family or friends or whatever the case may be. It's always really strange. And there's this comedian that has his take on Spanish movies and the dialogue in Spanish movies.
I mean, orale, primo. I mean, chale, I'm mad. I'm angry. 1 minute we're little kids playing pelota outside of our abuelita's house, trying to not be so loud so she doesn't hit us with the chancla. You remember the chancla? And the next minute she's gone. How are you not deep? I mean, you've always been so fuerte. You've always had animo.
What? You're calling me from jail? You're telling me you've been arrestado? I thought you weren't gonna live that kind of vida anymore.
This is only funny if you're Latino and you watch fucking movies or TV shows with a Latino lead, or it's like a Latino centric show. This is a huge problem in dialogue in movies. They make it seem like we just fucking talk in Spanglish all the time. I really hardly ever do that. And if there's the only time I can't speak for every other Latin person out there. The only time I ever throw out a legit Spanish word into my conversations is because I legit forgot the word in English for some, like, when you're bilingual, your brain kind of fizzles and you just like switch on. And then it's just, for me at least, I'm like, it's because I forgot a word It's easier in Spanish, that word. And that's the only time I'll ever like throw in a word. And in movies, it's every other word. And I have a little story I think I want to share. I think it'd be great after I play the end of this video about Spanish speaking and an experience I had.
Bro, no, listen to me. And listen to me super clearly. I'm not going to hold on to this secreto for you. You have to tell Mama.
This was always Abuelita's favorite tree. And now that I have a piece of it, I will always have a piece of her in mi corazón. I will never let you down, Abuelita. I know you're looking down on me.
And it's true. It's true. That the most awful representation of us is definitely the first sign is the way that they make Latin characters speak in movies. And let me tell you something about kind of an experience I had with Spanish speaking. I went on a date years ago, and I was dating. Well, I went on this date with this person who's outside my cultural circle. Okay, and meaning she wasn't a Hispanic girl, and I always had sometimes have an apprehension to that because sometimes culturally and stuff, sometimes you can't relate, and sometimes it's a little weird to kind of, I don't know, you get really weird interactions sometimes with people, and it's innocent sometimes for the most part, but then sometimes I can be a little sinister and weird, and this was one of those experiences. So I went on this date, and we met up at a bar, and we started having drinks. And one of the things that she first mentioned and like kind of made it very, very apparent was that she really loved Spanish dudes, and which is great. I mean, good for me, right? Like more chances for me. But at this point in my life, I also wasn't into the hookup culture thing. You know, I was already a little older, and I wasn't trying to do that. So while great, you know, but that's for me was I was there to genuinely get to know this person. Who knows? Maybe we could have dated or something. So that was the one red flag that I ignored. That she was specifically in kind of what would you call that? It was like the niche, right? Or the niche of where she wanted to date, who she wanted to date, was nothing but Latin guys, and that's a little weird. It's a little weird when people say like I only like to date Asian girls, or I think it's weird. I think it's a weird thing to say that that's the only thing you like. Now you can have your likes and stuff, but when you actively like kind of fetishize a culture just because of the culture, that's where for me it gets a little dicey. So she told me that, and I was like, all right, whatever. And then we're having a couple drinks, right? This is maybe our second drink in, and she starts saying how she loves Latin culture and how she's learning Spanish, how she wants to learn Spanish. And then it became this thing where, and for anyone who's, you know, exotic, they'll understand where sometimes they want you to perform culturally so they can kind of, I don't know, kind of get turned on a little. It's weird, this weird performative thing. She asked me to speak Spanish to her. Now, she doesn't know Spanish, so she wanted me to speak Spanish to her and had no clue what the fuck. I could have called her a skanky slut in Spanish, and she would have just thought that was like the bee's knees. And I was just like, well, no, I'm not going to talk to you in Spanish. Like why? And it was weird, like this whole like perform for me thing. And it's just like, no, like I'm not talking to you in Spanish. Like I'm okay. And I was just like, no, I'm all right. Like I don't want to do that. So that was sign number 2 that something was up, or at least 3 actually at that point. And then I was like, all right, no, I'm good, thanks. So we started. Now this is where I fucked up, because I can't put 100% the blame on this person. So I started drinking a little too heavy. All right, so I'm a couple drinks in, and I'm in outer space right now, and the music at the bar was pretty good, but it was like it was like rap music, but it was like really stuff in the now. It was very contemporary stuff. So all like the newer things. And she made a comment about how hip hop culture and rap music is so shit now, and it's like it never used to be shit. And she had this whole critique about like the culture, and I'm like, bitch, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not of the culture to be talking about the culture. Like, it was such a weird conversation that she was having, and it was borderline kind of racist too. And but it's like that thing where like people like they like consume the thing, but then they like are super like not understanding of it was bizarre. It was a bizarre ass fucking rant she went on. Flag number 4. And at this point you would think, get the fuck out of there, Rudy. You're not having a good time. And I was arguing with her though. That was also that was where I needed to come back and rewind to. I was having a bad time. And I was arguing with her about that rant that she was talking about hip hop stuff. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? So that's what started the ball rolling after that. And I'm already a couple of drinks in. And then I sure as fuck didn't stop drinking. And I had a couple more. So at this point, I swear to God, I'm like fucking 7 drinks in. And this whole time, mind you, this whole time that we're talking and having drinks and it's getting progressively more combative, she kept doing the thing that this video was doing, which was every other word she was saying was in Spanish. And it was like Spanish words that everyone knows. So it wasn't like some kind of, words by number kind of thing. It was just like she was just saying shit that I guess is very like elementary school Spanish, Coca-Cola, like it's just all regular words. And she kept doing that. Now, I don't remember all the words that she said because I only remember what led to the fucking huge argument that ensued after this. So she was telling me about her job, and she starts listing the kind of responsibilities that she had. And she goes, one thing I do is I got to organize this and the third. And the second, because she was a writer. I remember now. She was a writer. And then she was like, and the second thing I do is like, I have to kind of like, kind of create outlines and all this kind of stuff. And then so she was like, and Tres, I have to like, and then I had to stop her. I'm like, why have you been talking in this weird Spanglish this whole time? Like, you just, every other weird word, you're just making it Spanish. And I'm like, why are you doing it? I had to stop her. I'm like, why are you doing that? And then she goes, well, I told you, like, I love the culture. I love Spanish. I want to like, learn it, get better at it, or whatever the case may be. And then I was like, but you're not like learning Spanish, right? Like, you're not taking a course. You don't have Duolingo. Like, you're not actually studying it, right? Are you? And then she's like, no, but I want to. And I'm like, so then why are you talking like that? Like, and it just, and I'm, and it, I blew up after that. And then she got offended that I would even ask her that. And she goes, what the fuck is your problem? And then I'm like, what the fuck is my problem? And then it just snowballed. It snowballed into a fucking yelling match at this bar. And then people started looking at us. And then when I realized that, I shut the fuck up. But she wouldn't stop. And so she kept berating me and like talking shit. And then one of the last things that she said, the kind of the cherry on top of this fucking amazing date Sunday, was, you're the reason why this country is the way it is. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And she fucking left. So then I was sitting there with a full glass of whiskey and ginger I was drinking, and I was gonna sip it all, and I was like, fuck it. And I just sat there with this girl who just walked out on me and yelled at me in front of everyone, and nobody knew exactly why she yelled at me. And it was the most awful experience I've ever had dating, or at least one of them. I've had actually crazier stories. The last video that I want to play is a worker at a Pollo Loco. Okay, the Pollo Locos are a West Coast restaurant chain, and they sell chicken. They sell chicken. It's like a Spanish style kind of place. They have their rice and beans, and their if any indication of El Pollo Loco gives you can kind of understand maybe the kind of cuisine that's served there. Now, what happened to this Pollo Loco employee is that he got offered money. Now, I don't want to give it away, but an influencer kind of made him go viral, and I'll play the clip for you now.
As you know, yesterday you had an incident that happened.
You quit your job right now for $100,000 cash. People here today, I'll leave them like suffering. All right, I'm with a El Pollo worker that didn't quit. Just gave him the 15 grand from Dana White. He didn't want to leave his coworker suffering, man. He's a real one, so Dana White took care of him.
Just the way you handle the situation and the empathy you have for the team members, just the way you reacted to it is just something that we're grateful to have as part of our team. El Pollo Loco. Give you a check for $20,000.
Okay, so for people who heard and people who are watching, well, the people who aren't watching, El Pollo Loco, Pollo Loco employee was offered $100,000 to quit his job, and he didn't take it. And since he didn't take it, it went viral. And because of his work ethic or whatever the case may be, he ended up getting Dana White's attention, and he got the Pollo Loco's attention, and he got compensated from both. So he got $15,000 from Dana White, and he got $20,000 from El Pollo Loco. Nothing to sneeze at. That's a nice chunk of change. But you're still out $65,000. Okay? I would have fucking left that job in a heartbeat and then just applied to another Pollo Loco down the street. What the fuck, Alexander? That's his name, Alexander. It's on the check here. Dude, while it's noble to have that kind of level of niceness, it's admirable. It's fucking admirable, because I don't think a lot of people would have done what you did. But dude, you didn't make out like a bandit. You still lost out on 60 something K, man, on 65K. Dude, that's insane, man. That's insane. And oh my god, dude. It's there are people in this world that are that nice. That are just that nice. They don't realize that this capitalistic system, it'll eat you fucking alive, man. You're gonna have to pay taxes on what the fuck you just got too. You're not gonna be forgiven. You're still gonna have to struggle and shit. And fuck, man, it's frustrating, because he's obviously a nice dude. He didn't want to leave his coworker stranded if he would have just bounced that day. And real quick before I finish, the level of people that are out there that are nice like that, it's almost unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable, because maybe the darkness in your own soul that you can't imagine being that nice to anyone, much less a fucking corporation. So fuck them. But there are people out there that are nice because they don't want problems. They don't want to get fired. They don't want to, have their coworkers struggle. And there's people like that exist. And my mother is one of those people. And the reason I pulled this video is because my mother had an experience like this when she first came to America. And she tells this story. And until this day, I have never wanted to just shove my mom down on the floor. Just give her just a good shove. Just because of how insane the story that she told me. So she used to work at a hotel chain. Not sure, can't remember which one, but she worked at a hotel chain in Houston, I think in Houston, Texas. And my mom was part of the cleaning crew. So, they would have to go to, whatever floor they have, clean X amount of rooms, clean the sheets, all that good stuff. Okay, that was her job. So one of her first jobs when she came into this country. And this is the way she tells it. One day she was cleaning and she found a duffel bag full of money. She said she didn't realize how much money. The bag was overflowing with money. Now, what would you do in that situation? Okay? What would you do? I would have just fucking packed that bag, not told the fucking soul I quit, and just walked the fuck out of there. Just walk the fuck out of that hotel. Hailed the cab, and fucking be on my fucking way. But what did my mom do? She told her manager, and they took the money. Now, I don't know she doesn't tell me what they did with the money. I can assume that they took the fucking money, is what I would think. But who knows? Maybe they were too scared to and they called the cops. I don't know what happened after that. But my mom didn't take not even a stack. I was like, did you even take like at least a bill or something? Did you take fucking something? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And my mom is just the nicest human being I've ever come across in my life. And not just because she's my mother, it's just because I've seen how she acts with people and the world at large and the kind of personality she has and the soul that she has. She's just a genuinely nice, overly nice person. And I guess her demon son, that is me, cannot stand and fathom the idea that she can be that fucking nice. All right. And that's the end of the podcast. I really do want to thank everyone who's listening. I want to thank Anthony for just being the best, even though he couldn't join me today. I want to thank everyone again, and we'll talk on the next one.